Hello everyone, this is Gene from NYC with the second video of the evening. No song references this time. I'm tired. Anyway, RJ will be the prop for the video cause he's sleeping and he's right here and he's cute and adorable. So anyhow, I wanted to address something briefly that I've been hearing around the interwebs, which is this clip, I think, from Dark Phoenix, which seems to be sinking like a stone in the theaters. But anyhow, there apparently is this clip in the film where Mystique, who's played by Jennifer Lawrence, I believe, in this more current series of movies. I remember when Mystique was played by, what was her name? Rebecca Romaine Stamos? I think that was who played her way back in the day. But anyhow, there's this clip apparently where Mystique is sort of going off on Professor Xavier. And she says something to the effect of, well, the women are always saving this team. It should be called the X-Women instead of the X-Men. Now, this is not going to necessarily be a response to that quote, but more of what I think it represents and what it signals to me, right? I don't care for the quote. It's a stupid line, in my opinion. One that Mystique, especially in the comics, would never say. I think she would just sooner grab a gun and try to shoot Xavier in his face or something like that. The whole thing about Mystique is that she's ruthless and she's a survivor. But that's neither here nor there. To me, or at least for me, I'm less concerned about the scene and just more about what that line signals to me, which honestly is weakness. And let me explain what I mean. I'm sure we've all encountered that person more than once in life. Maybe we were that person at some point in life that has to puff themselves up, that has to talk big to feel big, that has to tell you, how good they are, how well they scored on a test, how much they can lift, how many phone numbers they can pick up at the club, how many one-night stands they can have, whatever it is, right? That person who brags too much for no reason. That is not a sign of strength or success. That to me, when you're overly braggadocious, is a sign of weakness and immaturity. So to me, what this phrase shows is that at least this version of Mystique is incredibly immature. And if we're just looking at it from a broader perspective, the immaturity of Hollywood, and especially Hollywood using geek media to push this women are strong narrative when geeks have known this since forever. I don't know too many geeks, too many sincere geeks and nerds, and I say that with all the love in the world. I don't mean it as an insult, who have issues with strong women. I don't know how many guys I've known in life who have crushes or had a crush on characters like Chun-Li or Cammy or Storm or Rogue or Lara Croft and so on and so on and so forth. Nerds like their strong women. The last person you have to sell the idea of a strong woman on is a nerd. They love it. It's like candy to them, right? So the fact that Hollywood needs to keep taking these nerd IPs, right, culturally appropriating them, because that's exactly what they're doing, and constantly preach this narrative of women are strong, women are powerful, women can save the day, women are noble warrior heroes. Thank you. Been known that since I was old enough to watch cartoons, so about 4 years old. Thank you. Next. Move on. I already know this. Tell me something I don't know. And to me, it's just really a sign of weakness that they have to keep telling us this over and over and over again. Whether it's Mystique talking about how the X-Women are always saving the day, or whether it's Captain Marvel going, I am a noble warrior hero. Don't say it. Show it. Show. Don't tell. Don't talk about it. Be about it. A person, 9 times out of 10, a person who is confident doesn't have to tell you they're confident. They just are. And it exudes from them. You just sense it. You can't help it. A person who say can lift 500 pounds, right? Who can bench press 500 pounds doesn't need to tell you. They usually look the part, right? They're usually very large people, very muscular, big arms, big thick chest, thick legs, right? You can see the result of the work. They don't have to tell you, hey, I can lift 500 pounds. You can look at them and go, that person, that man, I'll say. I've never known a woman who can lift 500 pounds. But that dude can lift 500 pounds. He can bench press that or deadlift that or whatever it is. He doesn't have to tell you. He just needs to show you. Or he just needs to just have the look you can look and tell, yeah, he works out. He's strong. Right? A person who is a hero usually doesn't have to tell you they're a hero. Their actions tell you that they're a hero. And that's the thing. Hollyweird. You probably will never come across this video, but in the incredibly off chance that you do, please understand that you need to stop telling people that women are strong and women are powerful and women are noble and that it'll be perfect once it fits a man. It'll be perfect once it fits a woman. Show us. Don't tell us Batwoman is like Bruce Wayne. Show us Batwoman. Show us who she is as a person. Show us who she is as a superhero. Don't tell us that Captain Marvel is a noble warrior hero. Show us how she's a noble warrior hero. Don't tell us that the X-Women are constantly saving the butts of the X-Men team. Show it. And please, I'll say it again, for the love that is all that of all that is good in the world, can we stop trying to create this divide? One of the beautiful things about the X-Men is that the X-Men wasn't all men. And X-Men is actually, at least to me, less a reference to gender and more about the one thing that all the X-Men, whether it be Wolverine, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Storm, Professor X, or any other member there's ever been, past, present, and future. Members going from Beast to Kid Omega to just everything and everybody, right? Warpath, I think that was his name, Warpath to Jubilee. The one thing they all have in common. The X gene, right? The X gene, that mutation that makes them different, that gives them supernatural powers and sometimes gives them a unique and at times inhuman appearance, just as Beast and Nightcrawler, how that works out for them. But that's what the X in the X-Men stands for. The X gene. That's the one thing they all have in common. More importantly, at least to me, the X-Men, especially what they fought for, was humanity. Let me say that again. Humanity. They weren't fighting for men. They weren't fighting for women. They were fighting for the human race. Xavier's whole vision was that if mutants could show that they were not to be feared, that they were human, just like everybody else, that people would stop fearing them and in time would learn to live with them. Of course, Magneto had a very separate viewpoint on this, but that was the whole point. There was this conflict of ideologies that both in many ways had their strengths and had their weaknesses. For example, Professor X's ideology of humanity coming to accept people is incredibly idealistic. That can be a flaw because you're depending on the goodness of man, right? But it's also very hopeful, and that's a positive. Magneto's philosophy of, mutants being the evolution of humanity, and that they have to protect themselves and defend themselves because humans, react in fear, and they fear what they don't understand, and they try to destroy it, has its positives and its negatives. It's a very realist approach, and you really can't deny that human history, large and small, does demonstrate that, when people are confronted with things they don't understand, especially if that thing is possibly threatening to them, they will try to destroy it. Right? So, there's a lot of truth to that. But, as Goliath would say, it's a half-truth. The other side of it is that Magneto's viewpoint is also heavily jaded. And it doesn't allow for humanity to ever come to accept mutants if they're constantly living in fear of them. Right? So both sides have points and both sides have flaws. But both sides were, in their minds at least, fighting for humanity. Rather, because Magneto views mutants as the next step in the evolutionary process for humans. Whereas Professor X feels that, mutants are just like everybody else. They just have this one thing that makes them different, the X gene. But they're both fighting for what they feel their vision of humanity is. So to me, that's what the X-Men always represented. The X gene and humanity, this theme of humanity, people coming together from different backgrounds, from different lands, with different experiences, lifespans, belief systems, whatever it is. I mean, you have Nightcrawler, who's a Catholic, you have Wolverine and Colossus, who I believe are atheists, or at least Wolverine's got his issues with God. You have Kitty Pryde, who is Jewish. You have Storm, who prays to goddesses, so she's a pagan, and she doesn't believe in a male god. Yet, they all get along. They all get along. So to me, the X-Men represent unity. And I don't mind that the team is called the X-Men, and that you do have these funny moments at times where you have a female member of the X-Men referring to themselves as an X-Man. Better to be an X-Man than to be a cog in the Hollywood machine. So anyway, that's one woman's opinion. Let me know what you think. Like it, hate it, think I've lost my mind. Let me know. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.